Choosing a major sometimes feels like a midlife crisis. How am I supposed to know what to do for the rest of my life? So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I chose this major, what is marketing, what's my experience in this field, and how I landed my first clients and also my jobs from college. And so even if you're not a marketing major, you can always stick around to watch kind of how you land internships and jobs. Hopefully I will find an industry that you would like to work in and that you feel passionate about. So let's get started. So as you all know, when you're in high school and you're applying for a major, it feels crazy. There's just so many options and you don't know whether or not, you'll be good at this, you'll like this. And so I am still a very indecisive person. I didn't know where to go at all. I was like, a lawyer seems kind of fun because I like to debate, but then I don't really like the studying portion. And then there was also a part of me that was like, well, I really love animals. I could be a vet, but that also takes a lot of studying. And then I was like, well, I'm really creative. I want to do art. But, sorry. Sorry to all the creative majors out there. And so I was stuck. I wasn't sure where to go and what to do, but I did really think about what I could do without making it feel like a job, if that makes sense. The thing is when people are just like, oh, don't choose a hobby to pursue into a career, I kind of agree with that in a sense where if you aren't willing to do that every day of your life, and even if you don't feel like it, then don't choose it. I did have a general ed class that was art, and spending more than 20 plus hours a week in that room made me stray away from the fact that oh, I don't really want to do art anymore. It's okay if you don't know where to go because there are so many general ed classes you need to take anyway, like creative arts, English, math, etc. You could have choices to choose it in your first year. You have to take them anyway. They're not a waste of credits. So you have to take them. And so I would just do that. But anyway, how I chose my major was, as I said, I loved art. When I was young, I would always draw, no matter what, in a sketchbook, I would just doodle. And I think a lot of my inspiration came from the fact that I watched Pokemon when I was younger, and I always had a creative for, art. It was just something that made me really stress relieved, and I loved it. And I think a big part was the fact that I could convey my feelings and my passions into just an image. The thing is, the quote that is, "Picture is worth more than 1,000 words," that's what I love to do. But I didn't know by that time that I would fall in love with marketing. I did want to go into art, but I thought the second best option was marketing because, just studying art is a little bit too general for me. I also didn't think it was just financially feasible for me to pay a lot of money to go into art school and, go through all of that to not be secured a job. But there are also plenty of artists that do really well. I just didn't know if I was kind of set up to want to do that, if that makes sense. No offense to all the art creators. Another lucky thing was I had two older brothers. My oldest brother actually owns a digital marketing company. He built it himself, and in high school he kind of exposed me to that and allowed me to kind of just see what the industry was about. And when I did actually see and go to his company and see there are so many ways of conveying things to audiences, in marketing there's so many things. There's the analytical side, there's the creative side. I love the fact that there was just a balance, and I love the flexibility of it because I don't like to be stuck in a box, if that makes sense. I'm not the type of person that would want to follow a set of directions without any creativity in there. So I knew what kind of person I was, and so I liked the fact that marketing, you could do whatever. There's a balance of both. Just try doing things. For example, I would just search up digital marketing projects I could do on my own, or even if you're not going to marketing, it could be how to build a portfolio for this major, and even coding, like take on some project and see if you're actually interested in it. But yeah, anyway, because I chose marketing and I made a few projects, I kind of fell in love with the process. And yeah, that's honestly how I just chose marketing while going into college. However, I will talk about later in this video, it wasn't until a professor of mine really made me fall in love with it. So what is marketing? I know marketing is a really broad term now that I described it. Marketing is a process by which companies create value and build strong customer relationships in order to capture value from consumers in return. I know, my professor drilled that into my head. Essentially, you're just creating awareness of the brand or the business, and you are trying to persuade customers why they should support this brand and why they should buy from this brand. By doing that, you build a relationship and you build like customer loyalty and etc. You can do this by many different sources, whether digital or traditional. Again, there's just so much you can do with marketing. And we do this by trial and error. So, you're not going to know first off like what is going to impress a certain consumer. And, like when you're a business, you always have a target audience. And target audience is, well, who you want to target. And so marketing is trying to find your target audience while seeing what will capture their attention to then want them to buy from you and, be supportive of your brand. And so like when you think about it, like all the big brands like in the world, like Nike, Amazon, Sephora. So what you see all over social media now, like the graphics, the logos, the typography, the copyright, all of that is part of marketing. Like long-term value customers. And also like even in person, like those flashy billboards, if you ever been to New York City, all of those are advertisements. But after doing that, the best part is analyzing what you have done and seeing what you could do better. So essentially, marketing is almost like dating someone. It's like trial and error because you have to try to find the right connection. So when you go into college, like because I was a business major, there's business core requirements. And so I had to take finance, accounting 1 and 2, marketing, etc. And because I was still choosing, I was still finding the balance between did I want to go into finance or did I want to go into marketing? And I quickly found out that I was terrible at finance. I still did well in the class, but I could definitely tell you that I would never take that class again. Accounting 1 and 2, I was actually really good at accounting, but it was just really boring to me that I didn't think I could even do this in a long-term job. For marketing, the first professor I had as an intro to marketing, they were okay. I think that I didn't really fall in love with the major is until actually my last semester. I had this great professor who was super passionate, and they taught, digital marketing. And because they were so passionate, I fell in love with the subject too. They made it really fun, and I also began to enjoy the process of learning and seeing really like how to even run Google Ads. Because the professor was so hands-on that, we were allowed to create advertisements by ourselves. And the professor even got the school to let us create advertisements for the grad program. I really loved that. And so because I was able to have a great professor, everything fell in place after that. Like I wasn't really passionate until last semester, and I'm about to graduate next semester. And so what I want to say is that, okay, first of all, professors make or break your experience. I want to say that because if I didn't have this professor, I would still be very unsure in the moment whether or not I wanted to go into digital marketing. I didn't have my life all planned out. I just kept on telling people, yeah, like probably marketing or finance, but I still didn't know until last semester. So I just want to say that your timeline works. Like you just have to try things, wait it out, try again. If you don't have a professor that is like, really hands-on, really passionate, I want you to actually try to make a portfolio and see whether or not you like it. Enjoy the process of learning. Marketing is a general term. There are essentially so many terms that go underneath this big term of marketing. And I could be here for hours if I just listed what you could do with marketing. There's like SEO marketing, content marketing, social media marketing, and I really love digital and social media marketing. And so I really want to specialize in that. And so basically, I'm sure you guys are all wondering, How did I land my first internship? I think freshman year of college, I signed up for like Upwork, and because I had portfolios, I literally just applied to gigs and I had a client. After that, like I kind of just focused on my studies because it just took a lot of time for me. But second year is when I started to, apply on LinkedIn. I started to apply, all the job sites. And it's hard. It's hard out there. I did not receive any response back. Well, I did receive, but most of the times, like, their qualifications were too high. Like, they needed a bachelor's degree, they needed like 5+ years of experience. It was just hard to compete because I was still a college student. I didn't have 5+ years of experience like they wanted me to have. And so I did my first internship, first of all, just by joining random communities. But my second internship, I got my second internship from my professor. Make your connections in college. I got in close to all my professors just by actually participating, asking for extra help, going to their office hours and asking questions. These are all ways to get your professor's attention and also know that and show that you're trying in their class and show that, you really like their class and etc. I'm lucky because my college is a smaller college, so I didn't have to really try as hard in, like distinguishing myself. But if you're going to a huge university, you need to do these things to get yourself out there. And by building these connections in college, it will most likely help you in the long run for your future when you're trying to land your first job, your first internship, etc. Try your best to get close to your professors, make connections with them. Now, I am sure you guys are wondering, well, what do you plan to do after graduation? I don't really know. And I'm sure you guys are like, what? Like, shouldn't you have a job already? Shouldn't you have this? However, I do know this. I will keep training, I will keep coaching, and, doing my digital marketing stuff. And as long as that, I am also going to continue doing content creation, both on YouTube, and also I did start a tennis TikTok yesterday, and so please follow below. It really helps out too. And honestly, I will always keep posting about my life, productivity, and I will do a heads up that there will be a lot more tennis content in the future. Please subscribe, it really helps out the channel, and thank you for all your support so far. We're almost at 200 subscribers, and I love you all, and see you next time.